Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. I talk about books on this channel, mainly books about magic, and if you'd like to see more of that, you can hit the subscribe button down below. And today, we're kicking off another reading vlog. Hello everyone and welcome to another reading vlog. This is my third one. I'm keeping up with it so far. Look at us go. I'm sorry I'm calling them weekly reading vlogs when they're more like 10-day bi-weekly reading vlogs, but that's how things go around here. So it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so I have the day off of work and I am hopefully turning this into a bonus productivity day. I'm planning on staying off of like too much social media, live news stuff today. If you know, you know. But I think I forgot to introduce A Natural History of Dragons to you in my last week's vlog. So I'm pretty sure I did. I think I like made an update on it, and then when I put it all together and posted it, I was like, I don't know that I introduced this. So A Natural History of Dragons is a book that I have been wanting to read forever. I have the first 4 books on audiobook that I've had for literal years, and I am thrilled to finally be reading this. It's a historical fantasy about a young woman named Lady Trent. Well, she's not Lady Trent when we start, but eventually she becomes Lady Trent, and she is writing memoirs about some of her escapades as a young woman, finding and researching dragons. I think so far what we've done is kind of go through her early life and talk about her, you know, things that she experienced as a child and what got her interested in dragons and natural history, and you know, just it's a very interesting introduction to her, and she's a very interesting character. I really love the audiobook of this because the story is supposed to be, the narrator of the audiobook is an older woman, because the book is supposed to be told by, you know, Lady Trent reflecting on her life. And so we are in the top, like the person we're following in what's going on is like 1920 right now, and she is being told this by a much older narrator, but she's doing such a good job, the narrator is, of making us feel like we are with a 19-year-old. She's just doing such a good job, and I really love how this narrator is just giving us great inflection and great tone to express how this young woman would be feeling, and it's just really enhancing the book for me. I think I'm buddy reading this with Leandra and Krista from Leandra the TBR0 and Books and Jams respectively, and I think we're all having a really good time with it, but so far, you know, initial thoughts, but because I'm only 100 pages in out of this probably like 200-300 page book, but we're having a good time, or I'm having a good time, because this is like peak world genre blend for me. Things like Soulless by Gail Carriger, and most of Gail Carriger's like Parasol Protectorate world are some of my favorite books. I also love what else? The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. What else is over there? Serafina, and like just books like that I absolutely adore and are this kind of vibe, and I am just having a fabulous time. So this is like perfect for me. I'm really loving it, and I don't know if I expressed that very well in my initial update last time. I'm also almost done with Half Off Ragnarok. I am determined to finish this book today. I only have about an hour and a half left of the audiobook at my listening speed according to my app. So that's the plan today. I also want to edit today and maybe film another video, or at least plan another video. We'll see. But it's going to be a productive day. I have turned on Neva's sprints for Monday, and I'm ready to just have her help me get productive. But I feel like I'm going to probably, this is one of those times where I'm like, I'm setting a timer and then I will be across the house and I will forget that I have the timer going, and I'll come back and have missed the chatty bit. That is what happens to me on some of these days when I'm like, I'm going to be productive. But I have bullet journal stuff I want to do. Maybe I will show you some of that. I have reading I want to get done. I want to at least relax a little bit because I am kind of ready to be productive today and using this as a like bonus day off, but also I want to rest a little bit. So I think that's my initial update. I will come back to you with more. I am itching to finish a book because I didn't finish a book. If you saw my last week's vlog, I've been reading some of the same books for like quite a while now, which is fine, but I just want to finish a book. So we also had snow last night, or all day yesterday. I think we got like 4 or 5 inches of snow. So I went out and cleaned off my car, moved my car, and kind of just got things cleaned up there. But that makes it like very like cozy today. It's very, very cold. It's like 16 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's chilly. It's below freezing. And I would really, really like to just kind of be inside all day and stay warm. So also these little curls are kind of driving me nuts. But anyway, I am gonna go and figure out some things that I'm gonna do today. Hello. So I have finished Half Off Ragnarok. I love this series. I love Sean McGuire's paranormal urban fantasy series. They are so fun, and I've read enough of them. I think I talked about this in my last vlog, that I have read enough of them that I sort of know the pattern. Like they are very comforting to me. They are very much comfort reads to me, even though I haven't read them before. So it's a little bit fun because like it's comforting, but it's also new. So this is the third book in the series, and we're following a family of cryptozoologists who are, instead of being like cryptid hunters, they are out here to try and protect cryptids, whether they are humanoids like gorgons or Bigfoot or Yetis, or if they're like church griffins, which are crow-cat hybrids, which is a very fun addition to this book in particular because we have a pet one of those, and therefore we have an animal companion that I fell in love with. So yes, so this was a 4.5 stars for me. It's not quite a full 5 stars because I did have a little bit of trouble getting into it just at the beginning because of, like I said, I think I said in my last vlog, like it felt like the story was kind of slow to start, but we were introducing a new narrator, so I'm not taking off much for that, but it didn't quite grab me the way some other Sean McGuire books have. So I do think the next book we have with this narrator will be like full love, but I loved it to bits. I had so much fun. Can't wait for the next one. And now, so Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading has inspired me to do like a little bit of a 12-hour readathon because of some chatty things we were doing in her Patreon Discord. And I am inspired to try and read as much as possible in the next 12 hours because, like I said, I need to finish some books. I'm ready to finish some things and start some new things. So we're going to read some of A Natural History of Dragons now and see how far I can get in this in the next little bit. I don't want to run too far ahead because I am buddy reading this, like I think I told you earlier. I'm getting vlogs confused now, but I do want to start my next like chunk of this to talk about in our group chat. So that's my update for now. I'm going to go make lunch. And you're going to see a bunch of me today because I'm home today and I don't have much to do other than like chores and audiobook reading and stuff like that. So I don't have anywhere to go. It's also, like I said, snowy. So we're going to get a lot done and I'm going to keep updating you about it. Hello friends. We are in the 11th hour, literally, because we're about to be, because it's 8:55. I started my 12 hours of reading this morning at 10 a.m. So literally we are at the 11th hour and I am getting ready to kind of finish out this little readathon I've set for myself. And this has been such a successful day. I started Call Down the Hawk, which is going to be in a separate vlog, so we're not going to talk about that. But I read 3 chapters of A Natural History of Dragons. I am loving this book. I don't really have a whole lot of thoughts other than that. Like, I'm loving this book so much. It's so interesting because there isn't a lot of plot here. Honestly, there's not a ton of plot. We are mostly wandering around the countryside looking for dragons to study and kind of listening to Lady Trent kind of reflect back on her life. But I love it because I'm finding it fascinating. I love how much world building Marie Brennan is doing. I like how much little bits of like foreshadowing and possibilities she's laying out for us here. I really love the society she's building around the idea of this dragon. It's really interesting because it feels like they're on a expedition to like just like if they're looking for giraffes or tigers, or like it feels like that sort of like British expedition into a country that's part of the empire. And like we haven't really gotten any critiques of that, which is interesting. And I'm not sure how I feel about that part, but that's what this feels like. Instead of it being necessarily fantastical, we have these dragons that are something we are literally just trying to figure out why they're attacking people and what's going on with them, period. Like, how do they work? So I would like to see us dive into a little bit more of a plot, only because I don't want to get bored, but I'm liking it overall. And I am just fascinated by the way we're talking about dragons and how we're kind of building up this dragon world. And then I also started A Prayer for the Crown Shy, which is the second book in the Monk and Robot duology. And I'm having a great... I started it, I think, a few days ago. I might have mentioned it in last week's vlog. But I started it more in earnest this week because I got to like 25% and I'm listening to that on audio. And this is just so warm and wonderful. I love the little discussions we're having because of like, I can't say too much because it's kind of like spoilery for the first book, but at the end of the first book, we're left in a spot where like we're in territory we've never been in before for the characters. And I like how we're exploring that territory and talking with Mosscap and Sibling Desks and how we're just seeing them explore these feelings and talk about their feelings and kind of keep checking in with each other and make sure that they're both fine. I just like their relationship so far. Like I said, I'm only 25% in, but it is a novella, so it's not very long. So I'm interested to see where we go from here, because I think the story is going to ask us some really interesting questions about, we continue to kind of have a bit of climate fiction in this. We continue to have a lot of questions about agency and responsibility and community. And I just really like these discussions we're having in here. So can't wait to do that. And then the other thing I've been reading this afternoon is God Killer. So now I know I've been talking about this book kind of over the course of the month and just kind of keep bringing it up. I'm finally at like the 30% mark of this book, if you can believe it's taken me this long to get there. But that is because I'm taking my time and just slowly listening to a few chapters. Like today is probably the most I've read it all at once because I'm just sitting and really I'm dissecting each sentence as I'm going down through it. I have so many underlines in here and highlights and tabbies and so much. If you are going into Faithbreaker, if you've read God Killer and Sunbringer and you're getting ready for the final book, Faithbreaker, to come out in April, I highly, highly, highly suggest you reread this book, because there have been several things in here after rereading that I'm just blown away that Hannah Kanner has laid the groundwork for, things that I'm picking up on this second time reading the book. There's an interaction between two characters that I literally, the first time they get introduced in here, and I sat here with my mouth hanging open after rereading that section, because I was just there is so much foreshadowing in that meeting that it's amazing. I can't wait to read Faithbreaker. I'm so excited to read Faithbreaker. Like, there's so much in here that leads me to think that Faithbreaker is going to just destroy me, and I'm so excited for it. Can't wait. Anyway, I'm having a grand time with this. Like I said, I'm at like the 30% mark. I'm gonna try to finish the chapter that I have started right now. I'm halfway through an Anara chapter, so I think I'm gonna try to finish that, and then I might switch over to BookTube for the rest of the night, because I'm tired. And I'm so happy with how much progress in my reads I've made today. I finished a book for the first time in like 10 days. You're probably going to see me finish a bunch of things in this vlog because I finished nothing in the last vlog. And yeah, so I need to start making some plans for my TBR for February. I'm so excited for Get a Clue. Yeah, so I think that's my update. And yeah, just reread this, guys. Reread this. And if you want to know, let me know. And I'll tell you what blew my mind. Like, if you've already read this and you're like, I don't have time to reread it, I'll tell you the 2 lines that have really blown me out of the water so far. So anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to a weekend update. It has been a little while since I updated you about this vlog because this week was busy. So my job revolves around a school year, and this week the students came back and it was the first week of school. It was a lot, but I worked late, all those good things. But I have finished A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan, and honestly, this was so fun. It was such a good read. I really enjoyed it. The only little issue that I think I have that's going to make it a 4.5 rather than a full 5 stars is I was fully enjoying the leisurely pace that we had throughout this book. However, at the very end, I feel like things really ramped up. Like, very suddenly, everything was happening. And it just sort of was jarring to me and sort of took me out of the story. So while I had a great time exploring this world, and I thought the world building was so well done, and I just really enjoyed, like I said, this leisurely pace we had about exploring the foreign country that Lady Trent was in. I enjoyed getting to know her character and the people around her and the dragons that they were talking about. I really enjoyed that, and I didn't mind it not having a ton of like plot and action. So like, even though I was sort of like wondering if we would get it, I wasn't missing it necessarily. Like, I wanted it a little bit, but I wasn't mad that we didn't have it. But then at the end, it like all caught up to us and was very like action all at the end. So I would have enjoyed it a little more that if we were going to get that level of action, that we would have like slowly built up to it. And I don't know, it just felt kind of sudden at the end of the book. So, and it did kind of lose me in what was happening because I was enjoying this leisurely pace. And then it was all of a sudden things were really ratcheted up to like a fever pitch. So overall, really fun. And I'm like saying that I'm giving you that critique. So much fun with this book. I had so much fun with Leandra and Krista buddy reading it. And even though it took me a while to read this, like I was reading this at a pretty sedate pace, I had a great time. I wasn't mad. I enjoyed it every time I picked it up. I wasn't avoiding it. I just had a lot on my plate. So very fun time. I really enjoyed comparing this to other books that I have read. It reminded me a lot of, what was the book that it reminded me of? Well, it reminded us, Leander and I talked a little bit about how this reminded us of several things. The memoir style of it reminded me of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six. Not with the content necessarily, but the way the memoir style worked in this like way that I felt like Lady Trent was a real person, and she had so much character and spunk to her that I kind of like it fully came across as a memoir rather than like a fictional book. So I liked that part of it. Then it also gave me similar vibes to The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter and the Soulless series by Gail Carriger. Like all of these books that are these historical, somewhat fantastical stories, it gave me all of those vibes, and those are some of my favorite books. So I am really, really anxious to continue on with this series and see even more of these characters and this world and explore it even deeper. I had such a good time with this. I am so glad that I finally read it. So thank you to everyone who pushed me to read this book and kept recommending it to me and gave me the final, moment to read this. And thank you to my buddies for reading this alongside me. I had a great time doing that. And thank you to my friend for gifting me this as well, because I was really appreciated being able to flip through this and see all of the illustrations, because they're really cool and they added a lot to my understanding of what we were talking about, especially when we got to this, like, something is described as monstrous and we have an illustration of that, and it gave me an even better understanding. So yeah. So I'm really happy with this. So I'm really happy with finishing this up. I'm hoping I can finish God Killer this weekend, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. I'm still less than 100 pages in, but I'm just really, really enjoying how slowly I'm taking this. And every time I sit down and read a chapter, I just fall right back into the story and get reabsorbed. And I'm really making a lot of tabs and notes and underlines in this. Just kind of catching all these really interesting things that I didn't realize were going to be significant the first time I read it, and just kind of trying to finish up some things. But I also have a lot to do this weekend that's not reading. So I have a page long to-do list because I have been working late this week and kind of falling behind on my home things. So it's probably going to be a weekend of balance, because also there is an Eagles game this weekend and we're hoping to win, because if we win this weekend, we go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's the championship game. Yeah. I always get a little confused because there's always a 2-week break in between the championship and the Super Bowl. So I always think there's another game in there, but there's just a break. But anyway, I have chores and reading and football and lots of things to do this weekend. So hopefully you'll have a lot of updates. I'm sorry there haven't been many updates since Monday. I think maybe there was one, but like I said, I was busy. So, and I'm also reading Call Down the Hawk for my Sundays or my series Scary Vlogs. So you won't be seeing that in this vlog, but I'm also when I am reading, I'm also splitting my time between those two things. So that's my update for now. I will talk to you all when I have more thoughts and more books that I have read. I moved this chair so it would stop being a junk chair, and somehow it's still full of stuff when I go to sit down to talk to you all. I mean, I can move that pile of books, but I'm just mad at myself. So I have a couple of updates. First, I just rewatched my clip of A Natural History of Dragons, and in the clip I say that I'm going to give the book a 4.5 stars. And after a little more reflection, and after talking it out with Leandra and Krista, and sort of just all of us kind of having similar feelings about some stuff, I just kind of realized that I want to give it a 4-star instead of a 4.5. Like, it's not that I didn't enjoy the book, like, still, all of those things I said about really enjoying it and everything, but I think the ending and how not confused, but just how abruptly things changed impacted my enjoyment more than I thought at first, because the longer I kind of sit with it, the more I'm like, that did bother me. So we're gonna sit at a 4. I'm happy there, after a little more discussion, it just kind of brings out more thoughts more clearly. So after doing a little more soul searching, we'll say, I'm ending up at a 4. Still really happy with that. Since I talked to you last, I have finished A Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers. This is the second book in the Monk and Robot duology series. So I have finished this duology, so I'm happy with that, because that means I finished a series. And I am just like, this is the story of sibling Dex, who is a tea monk, and they go out and serve tea and provide a service of a listening ear in their community. And then one day they kind of just have to go out. They decide they want more solitude than that, and they go off into the woods and they run into a robot. And robots have been separate from society for many years because they left after gaining sentience, and they like went into the wilds and humans don't use robots anymore. So sibling Dex runs into this robot named Mosscap, and they have a little adventure in the first book. And in the second book, we are sort of continuing that adventure in another vein. I don't want to like spoil things for you. And I really enjoyed this. It is a novella, so there's a lot that we cover, a lot of ground that we cover in this short book, but it's a lot of just really good feelings coming out of this book for me. Like, we cover a lot of ground, we address a lot of things, but it's all like feel like we discuss these like deeper topics in a way. Somehow Becky Chambers does this, that she covers a lot of ground with a lot of different topics like climate, anxiety, depression, finding purpose, that type of stuff. She covers these like deep topics in a way that is succinct but also very moving, and I really like that about these novellas. And I think she does that pretty well in her science fiction, like her Wayfarer trilogy series. That's 4 books as well. But yeah, I loved this, had a good time with it. I think I still enjoyed the first book a little more, because I remember actually like crying during that book, and this one just got me to well up a little bit. Like, I think I just had a deeper connection to the first book. So I'm gonna give this a 4.5 stars because I enjoyed it, but the first one is still first in my opinion, but this one is still excellent. Still had a good time with it. And yeah, so that was a good time. So now I don't know what I'm gonna do because it is currently the 28th. I don't want to start too much more until we go into Clue, but I still am working on Call Down the Hawk for my other vlog, and I don't know that I'm gonna finish God Killer in time for Get a Clue because I'm taking so long to read it, but I should probably get a move on because I'd also like to read and annotate Sunbringer in time for the release of Faithbreaker. So I'm just kind of in a limbo here. I'm also trying to decide if I should just give myself a few days break from reading and just like catch up on these things. I do have Tiger Queen, which I don't know who that's by. It's right here. I got this from the library on audio because it's a NetGalley book that I have had for a few years and I haven't ever read, but it's a YA book, so I thought I could start this and see if it kind of jumpstarts my reading because I've been in a bit of a slump and I don't want to be in a slump going into Get a Clue. So we'll see. I'm still trying to come up with what exactly I want to read and do. My job is still wearing me out a little bit each day, so I'm just trying to kind of lean into resting and working on like my bullet journal and watching BookTube and stuff, things that aren't nearly as like that I need as much brain power for. So I'm trying to lean into that, but I also would like to kind of jumpstart my reading for next month. So we're kind of in a spot right now, but I think that is my update for now because I just don't have a ton going on. I finished A Prayer for the Crown Shy, finished Natural History of Dragons, and I'm still reading my other 2 books. So that's my update for now, and I will talk to you more soon. So it's the end of January. We are done. TBRathon is over. We're fully starting Clue, and I have one more update for you all before I close out this vlog and then start vlogging for Clue, which I'm very excited about to do. And so I finished God Killer yesterday on sprints at the end of TBRathon and everything. I think I actually might have finished, I can't remember. Did I finish them in TBRathon or Get a Clue sprints? After taking a moment to reflect, it was TBRathon sprints. And I'm so happy I took the time to reread this and annotate it. And I don't have the most tabs in this book because what I have learned is that I am not super skilled at tabbing. Like, none of these tabs are coordinated to anything. I just started like putting tabs in randomly. So I need to get some tabs that I like and have enough. Like, I finished, I don't know if you can see, but I finished one like pack of tabs and then I had a different color set of tabs. So I need to get some that are like a group of colors that I like and then like try to assign things at the beginning of the book, but I didn't do that this time. But I did do so much annotating and underlining and just realizing of things. Like, I had such an incredible time just catching all these little things in Godkiller that are set up for Sunbringer and probably Faithbreaker, and just noticing all these little things within the world. How much, I know I harp on the world building of Godkiller, but just how much world building and history and little pieces of things that the author just weaves into it. It's just absolutely stunning, and I love it to bits. So I'm just so pleased that I took the time to reread this, and it also kind of makes me happy that I took a long time to reread it. Like, I literally took all month, and at times I felt like I have to get this book done, but other nights I'd sit there and I'd read like a chapter and just savor the chapter and really take my time reading it and absorbing it. So this series, like, I know we still have Faithbreaker to go, and that could easily make or break the series since it is the finale. But this book and this series has just cemented itself as one of my favorites of all time. And I just love it so, so much. So that might be premature to say considering we're getting the third and final book, but like, just, I love this series, and so much about it like works and means so much to me. And I had a great time rereading it. So this is a full 5 stars. If I gave 6 stars, this would be a 6-star book. That is not my rating system. I'm just adopting that because I love this book so much. And on a third reread, it is just like completely just, I don't have words because I loved it so much. And I loved the process of rereading it and annotating it this time so much. Like, I can't wait. Speaking of this, I'm going to have to go get a copy of Sunbringer, because the only copy of Sunbringer I have is my Illumicrate edition, and I don't want to annotate this. I don't want to draw and annotate in this. This is like a prized possession. So I need to go get a copy of Sunbringer in paperback that I can annotate, and yeah. So, and I think I'm going to have to order Faithbreaker in paperback as well, because it only comes out in paperback in the US. I have had to order all my hardcovers from UK sources. So, and I already have two editions of Faithbreaker coming from the UK. I love this series so, so much. I'm so, so excited for Faithbreaker. So yeah. And that's the plan. So Sunbringer, I know I'm probably not gonna have time to read Sunbringer like in February. I might try to, but I don't know with Get a Clue if I'll have time. So it might be a March read, and hopefully it goes a little bit faster that I can get Faithbreaker started. But that's my plan, friends, and that's the end of the vlog, because I'm just gushing about a favorite book now, and it is now time for Get a Clue, and I am, need to close this out and start my Get a Clue vlog. But that's my updates for now. If you are interested in joining Get a Clue, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a readathon hosted by Rainy Blue Reads. I will have the announcement video linked down below if you'd like to check it out and join us. There is still plenty of time because it is only the 2nd of February. It's a competitive readathon, so if that's not your jam, there is both senior and junior detective modes. So junior detective, you can just mood read. So if competitive prompts, reading to prompts isn't your style, there is still a way for you to join us, and it's been a lovely community so far that Rainy's building over there. So anyway, I am gonna go. I have some things to do today on Saturday to put this vlog together for tomorrow, and also I think I'm gonna have to go see if I can find a copy of this like today, but we'll see. But anyway, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to leave me a comment down below, liking, subscribing, commenting, all help my channel out very, very much. But if you aren't feeling chatty and you just want to leave me a deer emoji, since you got to the end of this vlog, that would be great too. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next reading vlog. Bye!